If you want to create a conversion for call tracking, you go into the tools menu item and then click on conversions, and then you click on the red plus conversion. And you can actually create a conversion. And so we're going to create on phone calls. And so that if we're going to do a phone call conversion, we click on phone calls. Now you got three choices. You got calls from ads using call extensions or call only ads, calls to a phone number on your website, clicks on your number on your mobile website. Now, the one I like to use is the middle one, call to a phone number on your website. And I'm going to cover that first. And so you click on that and you give it a name. And you have to fill in all these forms, even though you're not going to, if you decide not to set a value, you still have to say no value. So you have to go to each one of these things. That's one of the mistakes I've made. Sometimes I hit OK, and then it says, well, you still got to do this. And I had forgotten to do that. So you give it a name, and then you have to give it a value. For phone calls, I generally don't assign a value, but if you actually want to, you can do that. Call length. Now, this is an interesting, you have to kind of decide what is the best thing here. If you're like an individual location, somebody might call up and it would still be counted a conversion because it's a quick phone call and they're asking, what's your location, or I'm a block away and I can't figure out how to get there. It's a real quick phone call and they found you on their phone. So you still want that to count as a conversion. You want to set it as short as you can, but you also don't want to count conversions that are, wrong numbers and that kind of stuff. But generally those phone calls will end in less than 15 seconds. Sometimes I set it to 10 seconds. If you actually are real concerned about it being a real long phone call, then you might set it to 60 seconds or longer so that you don't count conversions to the people that just call up and they figure out within a minute they don't want to deal with you. And the next one is you want to count the count. Choose how you'd like to count your conversions. You want to count every conversion or just one conversion. This is more important with other kinds of conversions. So generally, I just use the one on phone calls. Generally, that's more for like an e-commerce type of conversion. And then conversion window. So this tells us how long we're going to hold on count their cookie. So if we pass them out a cookie, they came to our website and AdWords puts a cookie on their computer. So if they click on the ad and they call 31 days later, it will not get counted as a pay-per-click ad if they came from some other way. So whenever the last pay-per-click click was and when they actually made the conversion, that really doesn't matter so much for phone calls because generally they're going to come to your website and make a call. So I generally just kind of leave that alone. Next one is what kind of category is this? Is it a lead, a sign up, a purchase, sale, or other? I generally leave that as lead for phone calls. Including conversions. Now, this is kind of up to you. Google has different metrics when you're actually going through your account and looking at, whenever you log in and you see statistics, you can actually see all conversions or just conversions. No matter what you set here, it'll be included in the all conversions. Now, if you change it to no, it will not include it in the conversions. So if you're actually an e-commerce website and you have a phone number, you may want to say no on that. If you're a lawyer or a doctor, you want to put yes. It just depends on your goals in that particular area. Next thing you do is hit save and continue. Okay. So after you hit the OK button, you'll need to actually go in and do some stuff with your code. The very first thing is the actual code that needs to go on every page of your website. This just goes in the header section of your website between the head tags. And then the next step, you pretty much need to be a programmer to understand this part of it. Basically, what's going to happen is it's going to put this little piece of code where your phone number would go, and it will show your normal phone number if they haven't come to you from pay-per-click, and will show a Google phone number if they came from pay-per-click. So just click on the follow these steps button, and you can get some actually more detailed directions on how to actually set it up. And the very next step that you'll need to do is that you'll actually need to make sure you actually have call extensions set up in your account. So all you need to do is go back to the campaigns button. and then go to the campaign that you're going to be working with. And if you're going to use the same number for all your campaigns, just repeat these steps. So then you go to call extensions or add extensions, and then the pull down menu, you select call extensions. Now, even if you've already got a phone number in there, you need to make sure it's set up properly. So once it's set up, you need to make sure you have it set to use Google phone numbers. Show my ads with a Google forwarding phone number and use call reporting. It will not work unless you have that set up. So if you're using just, my own phone number, then it won't switch it around. You actually need to make sure you're using the Google phone numbers.